What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at mid Vieira, the absolute monster in the midfield. He is 88 rated. He has two other versions, obviously a base at 86 and a 91 that is his prime. 86 is still coming in at 1.3 mil, even with the base icon pack being repeatable. We've had 3 separate base icon packs, obviously no icon swaps as of yet, so we haven't had that real low kind of value if he did manage to get in. I don't think he will. Normally they kind of keep it very calm for the icon swaps 1, and I think we got him in like icon swaps 2 or 3 as the final one, so 86 is kind of off the cards at the moment, but his mid is coming in at 2.8 million, which is absolutely incredible. Leadership and power header in him, and I think FIFA 19 was probably one of his better years, because I think it was FIFA 19, I'm pretty sure it was, where basically height, power, passing, pace, strength, the whole shebang, basically Ronaldo, Vieira, Hullet were godly. Like, not saying that they're not now, because obviously he wouldn't stand in at 2.9 mil if he wasn't somewhat of an animal, but in terms of kind of everything, he just has it. Yes, he does only have the freestyle, which is probably the only weakest point for him. I just think his animations, stats, all point towards an absolute success of an icon, and everybody wants him, obviously. The chemistry style that you would want to go with is going to be that engine. Obviously, getting a bit more on that agility balance will be absolute key. Turning that into 81 agility, 81 balance, and you'd also get 94 dribbling. You'd also then get 90 pace on him, as well as then having 86 passing also. Defensively, already very good. Physicality is incredible as well. Shooting is a bit average, but he is more of a kind of... He is almost box-to-box / DM, but I feel like just in general, free roaming in that midfield, defense to attack, is just going to be an absolute dream for him. And then obviously being 6'4", you're going to want him in the box for the headers as well. So for me, I think this guy's coming in at a very good price for what you get. Would I necessarily put all my coins into him? I think if you've got a very strong team around him, and maybe this is your player, you're either an Arsenal fan, you're a French fan, you are just a Vieira fan. I can imagine there is plenty of people that just idolize this guy, because back in his day he was phenomenal. Obviously managing Crystal Palace now, I don't think doing terribly, not necessarily awful to be honest, so quite an interesting streak for him, and it'd be interesting to see where he kind of goes in the future. Let's jump into some Vieira clips, see what he can do for us. Vieira coming in, as you can tell, a big old unit in that midfield. Obviously this guy has got a bit of Hullet as well. Try the cheeky pass, probably a little bit too far-fetched for him, but in terms of kind of Vieira, he normally is very good. We do normally kind of get at least one of his versions throughout the year. Obviously it all started in FIFA 18 with obviously the SBCs. We obviously had to be finishing Vieira, Hullet, the whole shebang, because the midfield was just absolutely unplayable. As soon as you have them absolute units there, can we get this into him? Good block by Fofana, but once you get the midfielders in, like this guy's got Hullet in his, you just are incredible. The midfield is so much more tricky to kind of get a hold of. Obviously, I think Hullet would be the kind of preferred choice, but obviously that is why he is almost double the value of Vieira. It's a good save from Alisson. So obviously there is kind of better midfielders that you'd prefer, and I think Vieira is one of them ones that you could definitely find somebody who is similar. I don't think with Hullet you can get too many that are very similar, especially early on in the game. Looking for that little ball across, he's so calm with it as well. But in terms of kind of Hullet, I think, yeah, he is very unique in his sort of style. Whereas Vieira, he is a big old CDM, and I think there is a lot of people that can do that role comfortably. Oh my, can do that role comfortably, but nobody does it like Vieira at sometimes as well. That kind of is what it is. He's 6'4" and he's got very good stats, and there is very few people that have that sort of caliber as such. The only kind of people you will get that is seen as better is people obviously with that 4-5 star weak foot and skill moves, which obviously that is the only thing that Vieira doesn't possess really in him. Always pushing it forward, which is very nice. Oh, and Hullet plants his feet, and that's where the Hullet really kind of kicks in there. I think another good fact for Vieira, I think what I've personally seen throughout the years, and most times I've seen it, especially when you kind of have two very, very good CDMs, CMs, whatever you want to have in there, I think Vieira is always better, especially in a free, to be more middle based. I think when you put him kind of left midfield, right midfield, he doesn't necessarily struggle, but I just feel like the benefits of him being like kind of more of a central midfielder kind of goes away. And I think that's where Hullet kind of introduces a little bit better of a tactic, but just because that's a goal from Salah, just because I think Hullet can play almost any role. And again, he is very good in the CM, but I feel like as a left CM or a right CM, he still maintains that absolute winning record of just naturally being incredible. The question is he in the middle? I think he's at the back. No, there he is. He's pushing forward with number 7. Can we find him? He's chilling around inside the box there. Find a ball into him. And Kier is going to get a great little block on him. Nearly getting himself in there. Just watching him running back. We see him kind of next to Hullet there. Making sure that he's getting enough speed to get back, and you can see there that may be the problem in terms of him, is not very quick at returning, and that again is why you sometimes with some players you don't necessarily overexert them to it. That's a poor ball, just because we know their kind of, not even just their work rates, but just speed to get back isn't always cut up to what it should be. And you notice as well, I noticed as well with this guy, very much trying to bypass the midfield by going around Vieira, knowing that literally he is the kind of key man that we're looking at. He's just constantly going down this wing, really trying to push the wing play rather than going central, which a lot of people don't do. But you know that Vieira, like there, is always going to be on it. Into Vieira himself. Big boy pass across into Salah. Gets his right foot across it, and I really, really wish that he was onto his left at that point. Good interception by big boy Vieira. Again, sees it comfortably out. And I think with these icons as well, I don't know, I feel like it is kind of more the top end market in terms of cards, but they just feel so easy to play with on the ball. Like, it's sometimes with some players, oh my god, Henry, some players, they kind of take a little bit of force, maybe they don't feel as fluent as some, but when you get to kind of these top end cards, they just naturally fit like a glove. You can play with them all day long, and it's like you've had them for 15 to 20 matches. He's going to be offside. He goes for the little chip as well, nearly. Oh, Vieira, probably one of the only ones that will always challenge Hullet and win a few times at least. Takes it away instantly. Gets his pass off as well. Oh, and he comes back with an absolute monster challenge. Oh, if it wasn't for that pass, that clip would have been golden. Lovely little double ball roll against Renato Sanchez, and then he just gives the ball away. Vieira, not standing for any of that. Lovely little turn, gets the ball away nicely into Barella, finds it to Salah, gets his left foot, and it's a great save from Kaylor. So going into the overall for big boy Vieira then. So as we mentioned, 2.8 on the Xbox, 3.6 on the PlayStation, and 3.88 on the PC. In terms of kind of different versions, pretty much you're only getting a big, well, it's plus on his pace, and then obviously that's the wrong one, there we go, and a plus on his dribbling. Everything else is identical, literally the same. So it is quite an interesting one to see what you can actually get different, because obviously 2.8 mil, 1.2, 1.3, we have had obviously base icon upgrades, so that is kind of, it's normal that he will drop down that a little bit more, but it is interesting to see that +4 pace, +5 dribbling can leave such a gap in between, because if normally one is almost as good as the other, if one goes down, two goes down. But obviously mid Vieira's held his price quite nicely. We know that the pace increase and obviously the dribbling is always going to be beneficial. That is always naturally going to be fantastic. More agility balance, obviously not by a lot, but with that engine on, you're looking at a very, very solid midfielder. You've got 90 pace, 86 passing, 90 dribbling, already with obviously very good standing tackles, great interceptions, and his physicality is fantastic. 6'4", so doesn't necessarily need too much jumping, because naturally his height will always kind of put him ahead of a lot of players, especially in the midfield. You don't see many players above 6'3", especially nowadays. There is obviously some, but not necessarily everybody. going forward with this guy, I think in terms of value for coins, you are looking very good in terms of a midfielder. In terms of icon midfielders, he is one of the top end ones, but also one of the cheaper ones in terms of kind of like a CM/CDM. Obviously, we know Hullet is like, what, 5 mil, I'm pretty sure, wherever he's at. I think he's, what range is he? Is he he's 90, isn't he? So he should be here. So he's 5.2. You can imagine. In terms of everybody else, if we go back to the top, obviously some of these are prime as well. Obviously, we've got a few. Perlo's not really going to compare. Bergkamp's not going to compare. Rijkaard, no. I think really you are looking at the other two. The only one that was close back in the day was Ballack. He was actually worth something. Now I think it is naturally just kind of slowing down more and more with obviously the normal players, the gold players that we've got are just as good really, whereas I think Vieira and Hullet have always kept their price with naturally how good they are in the game. I don't think there's really any other icons that can compare in terms of height kind of and the stats as well. You obviously get quite a few that are very good defensively, very good in the air, or obviously very quick on the dribble, but in terms of kind of the complete midfielder here, in terms of icons, there's very few that will link. If you do, or not link, but kind of are almost comparable to some extent. Obviously, that's where the coins come into it. If you have got an icon that you think is very close to Vieira, let me know down below. I'll always be interested to know who you're rocking in your midfield. In terms of gold, you're looking someone like a Conte, you're looking somebody like a Kimmich, a Goretzka, someone who has got that all-round wow factor. The main thing for me, especially with Hullet and Vieira, is their height. They are absolutely huge. 6'4" as a CDM is absolutely massive. And obviously in a few games back, I think FIFA 20 was very similar. Vieira playing at centre back, absolute godlike, just because his tackling is that good. Even if you went then with a shadow on him, you look at a 92 centre back, I think definitely engine is still the way to go with him, regardless of the position, because I think that agility balance is going to be massive. But I definitely could imagine even an anchor. That's an incredible centre-back, really, if you are kind of willing to put that like that. But overall, for me, I think as a midfielder, he is absolute class. Obviously, he was always going to be a 10 out of 10. He is wonderful in this game. So let me know down below if you've packed him, if you've got him, if you want him. What are you saying with Vieira? Or have you had him on any other game? Have you had him on FIFA 21, FIFA 20 from obviously moments packs, just normal mid packs? Let me know down below. Make sure you like and subscribe as we are on that road to 10k. We've got about 70 or 65-ish subs left. Let's see if we can get it very soon. But other than that, make sure you like and subscribe. Let's see you all for the next one. Peace.